Hey YouTube friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Please consider sticking around by subscribing and hitting that bell. I will be making a lot of different videos since it is getting closer to our next school year, and I know a lot of homeschooling families are looking into curriculum for the following year. I like to share those things here because they are a great help to me as a homeschooling mom, and I hope to be a help to other homeschooling families out there. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you Foundations D. So this will be my final review of Logic of English Foundations. We have used A all the way through D. After this, you go into Essentials. And I have shared in the past that we will not be moving into Essentials for language arts. And I will share what we are going to be using in an upcoming video. But for now, I'm just going to review Foundations D. So if you're interested, stick around. Okay, so for Foundations, you need the teacher's manual, you need the student workbook. You also are going to need these readers. There's 8 of these nonfiction readers, and I'll briefly go over them with you and show you inside them so you can get an idea. These are really nice. This is the Arctic and the Antarctic, and it talks about the opposites of both of those places, and it follows a polar bear and a penguin. So what I love about these readers is that the child's not only getting the language arts portion and the reading in, they're also getting a ton of information about geography, about landscape, about animals. They're learning a ton. So it's like science and geography all built in. So it's really great. And there's a glossary in the back of each one. So that's number 1. And these nonfiction books also have a partner book that's a fiction book. So for this one, I could just show you, they're reading Polar Opposites by Eric Brooks. And this is just a fiction of the same concept, you know, the opposites, Arctic and Antarctic, and it follows a polar bear and a penguin. And it teaches about the equator and a lot of other scientific things. So I like that about the books. And it's not that the words are hard to read. It's just nice that they have, you know, reading with expression. So there's quotation marks and, you know, exciting little ways that they tell the story within the book. So that's Polar Opposites, and it goes with this one. So the next reader you have is Baby Birds, and this one goes with, I believe, Are You My Mother? So that is another nonfiction book. I'll show you in a second. So this is the inside of that one. Bears, Bears, and More Bears. Again, lots of information about bears, the different types of bears, what region of the world you find the bears in. This one is carp. This also just teaches them about carps and how they're the most, I think this was pretty fascinating, how there's over 2,000 species of them or something, not 2,000, even more than that, 2,400 of them. It's the largest family group of fish. So we thought this was fascinating. So she learned that even goldfish are considered carp. This one is My Nest is Best. Of course, it's the different types of nests. Frog or toad. Same thing, teaches about fish, frogs, the life cycle of frogs, many kinds of feet. I mean, these are just really great, even as like science readers and geography readers. But the way they tie them into the program is great. I really love that. Okay, so those are your 8 readers. And then you have the nonfiction, the fiction. So you have Little Bear. Of course, this will go with the, if I can find it, hold on. So this will go with this. Bears, Bears, and More Bears. So you got the nonfiction and then the fiction. And then for carp, it's the fish one. It's in one of my big books of Dr. Seuss. So let's just pull those out. And some of them, of course, have nothing to do with a fiction, a nonfiction. It just happens to be something you read. So this one here, this one has, I believe, a couple. Oh, I think I brought the wrong one down. But anyway, in these big books of Dr. Seuss, there are going to be books that you're going to need for the program. So you might already have one kicking around at your house, but these just have, you know, all the stories that are out here. Then we also have this one, and this one actually has The Best Nest, which we use, Are You My Mother, Go Dog Go. So again, you probably have these in your house as individual books maybe. If not, you know, they go together with these books. So like Henry and Mudge, Ling and Ting, not exactly the same, like the opposites. You get Pour the Tea, Dotsworth in New York, Should I Share My Ice Cream? And this one was interesting because the book itself is all in thought bubbles, in, you know, speaking bubbles. So they have like a lesson in Foundations where you go over like what they are. Which one do you think someone is thinking, and which one do you think someone is actually speaking? So there was like a little activity to do with that, which I thought was great. So this is reading with expression, and they use this to teach that. And then this one, of course, would go with The Mouse and Mole, nonfiction book. So I like that they did that. I really loved it. And my daughter really loved that. That is how they connected them throughout the lessons. So I think I have all of these. Some of these she read before going into Foundations D, and then, you know, she just reread them, which isn't a big deal. But the reading is fine. This, for example, I don't know what level this one is. This one is pretty easy, but it's in quotations, a lot of back and forth dialogue, so that's nice. And then this one is level 3, again, lots of dialogue in it, so they're getting different ways of reading stories. Yeah, I think I pulled out all of the additional readers that you get. I can't say that they're essential to have. They're integrated, but I don't know if they're essential. I guess you'd have to look up on the website to figure that out. I don't remember if they were essential or if they're just something that you can get to kind of enhance the program. The other thing that you wouldn't get with D, but that you've been using throughout the program, if you're using Foundations, if you're new, Doodling Dragons goes with the level A, and these books are really great. They just go over the sounds, and then they have like little sentences or phrases that teach you all the sounds throughout. So that would be for A. And then you have B is Whistling Whales. It's sort of the same thing. When you're learning about a phonogram, it just teaches you how it's said. Okay, and that's the sound of E, double E, and then it shows you there. So we've really enjoyed these. And this Knitting Nights goes with level C. Same thing, these are the phonograms that you're learning throughout. It shows you them here. And then again, just teaches you the of bird, and then how you use them in a sentence, in a phrase. So these have been really fun and helpful in teaching, and we'll keep these beyond, you know, these levels. We'll still be using them wherever we go next into language arts. Okay, so you have the Foundations Teacher's Manual and then the Student Workbook. I'll just give you a quick look at just some of the lessons to show you what they look like. In previous Foundations levels, I just would tear out the worksheet, and then she would work on worksheet because it was very simple, it was very quick. But D has stepped it up quite a bit, so there's a lot more to do. There's a lot more handwriting. There's a lot more like writing in it, or like reading. So here there's highlighting sentences. We talk about antonyms. There's lots of spelling tests throughout. Every lesson has them. And there's 8 spelling words. And then there's some copy work involved. There are games built in still. This asks you to play it like a game where here's some pictures and you're going to ask questions, and then based on the questions you have to figure out what picture the person is thinking about. Punctuation, you do word arrays, adding suffixes, beginning and ending, putting the story in order, like diagramming. There's built-in review. So these are the phonograms that you're just practicing from previous lessons. It just reminds you. So the student should be able to write down the phonogram when you say it, and they should be able to say it if you just tell them like ch. They should be able to write it down. Or if you say ch, they should be able to say ch. Then there's some built-in stories in the review. This also gives you a way to figure out how many words per minute your child can read, and then it breaks it down for you, and then you can figure out what reading level your child is in. So again, some more plurals, nouns. So these are just some. I'm still doing like some tic-tac-toe and things, person, place, things. So it's been a fun, just a really fun way of learning language arts. It is super, super, super teacher intensive. So none of these am I really able to give her and have her do on her own, because it requires something of me to tell her to do. So in the previous lessons, or levels I should say, I found that there were some things where I could just show her the page and just give her a quick explanation, and then she could do them on her own. This, I feel like there's a lot more in the teacher's manual that's required, that I need to tell her in order for her to complete an assignment. So we talk about common and proper nouns, etc. So there is just a ton here that you do. So they're learning a ton, but again, very teacher intensive. So here's the teacher's manual for D, and the scope and sequence here. So every 5th lesson, so after the 5th lesson, you're going to do a review. Okay, and this is just going to go over concepts that they've learned before. So they're doing all of this: writing, spelling, fluency, grammar. There's a ton more grammar here, and spelling and writing and reading comprehension, a lot more dictation and things than any of the other lessons. We do something with like Venn diagramming. Of course, you work on like abbreviations and prefixes and synonyms. Just a ton of stuff. Compound words, homophones. So 2 and 2, like I talked to you about before, like meet and meet, like M-E-A-T and M-E-E-T. So it's just a ton. So let me just give you an example, and I think I'll be done after this, but I don't want to make this too long. This just gives you an idea of some of the things you're gonna need to use and do. I don't know. Okay, I guess we can do this one. So for this one, lesson 131, you're going to be reading Should I Share My Ice Cream? And so that's this book. And you're going to be going over spelling rules with the unstressed OR. So you're going to be reading those words. Capitalizing proper nouns that are specific people. Spelling all these words: somewhere, ice, cream, flavor, color, live, problem, and awesome. Read with expression, I mentioned that. and comprehension. Discuss how the students identify with the story. Writing is you're going to write a text in speech bubbles. My daughter thought that was really fun, writing a text in the speech bubbles. And then just gives you the materials that you're going to need, the flashcards that you're going to need. You're going to need grammar cards 1 and 1.5, some yellow and blue highlighters, your basic phonogram cards, your flashcards, that are these ones that you need, OR, ER, IR, UR, EAR. 2 colors of markers, pencils, your lazy vowel chart that you should already have from previous levels, and then the book. And then it just goes over everything that you're going to do. So the phonogram cards, so these are the basic ones. So the OR would be this one, EAR, ER, UR, and IR. So you would just get out these cards, okay? And on the back, it just says the sound. OR like Lord, ER like search, EAR like search, the of her, the of hurt, the of bird. Okay, so you have those ready to go. And then for grammar, you're going to, I guess you don't need a grammar card, I guess. Or did it say? Yeah. So grammar card 1, so you would just pick out which grammar card you need. It's a spelling rule card. And it tells you the one that you need. So 1.5 is this one, and then 1 is this one. So this one is the proper nouns, and it tells you what it is, and then it gives you examples on the back. Again, tells you what a noun is, and then gives you examples on the back. So I really love these grammar cards. They work so well. Something we'll keep around for forever. And then this is just a spelling rule one. If it mentioned a spelling rule card. But anyway, this is just an example of when they add a suffix. So drop the silent final E when adding a vowel, suffix only if it's allowed by other spelling rules. And there's always games that go along with these types of activities. So you just have the card out and it's easy to reference. So you definitely need these cards. I think they're very important. But like I said, this is the basic ones. These are the spelling rule ones. Let me put that back in here. So these are the spelling rule ones. And then you have, these are the advanced ones that we have. And they're a little different color here. They're blue. So you'll use at least 8 of these throughout the course. And then you'll address the other ones. If you go into essentials, they work on the remainder of all of those. We're just going to work on them on our own and not necessarily through a program specifically, but we're going to continue to work on all of those phonogram cards, the advanced ones, until we're all done with them. All right, so back to this. So it just goes over exactly what you're going to do. You're going to show grammar card 1, and you just talk about whatever it says. And they go over what a noun is. Some of it is review. Some of it's going to be new. You go over the spelling rule. You go over some schwa sounds. So it's just really, really easy to follow. Once you get the hang of it, it's really easy to follow. Again, very teacher intensive. I think that's the one drawback for me, is that it's super teacher intensive, especially at this level. Once you get into D, there's so much more to do and to cover. It takes some time. It really does. Yeah, so the speech bubble. So it also tells you what workbook page you're going to be working on. So for example, lesson 131.3 just refers to the workbook page. Let's see here. Did we already do this? Some of them I didn't have her do here. She just did in like a spelling program for like games and stuff for her spelling list. So here is like the thought bubbles. Instead of writing, she wrote in the one where she thought he was actually speaking. In the other ones, they're just thinking. So she just wrote pictures, like the panda was thinking of bamboo, the elephant was thinking about ice cream, and I think she said the cowboy was thinking about his money being blown away by the wind. I thought that was funny. And then, of course, the little penguin says, I love you. So it's just a lot of fun little games they play. This one, we were doing a spelling mystery, so you pull some of them right out. She was a detective, and she had to figure out what was different about the words, why some dropped the E and added the suffix, and why some kept it. So that was fun. So throughout, they just do like fun games like that. But that is it, you guys. So we have loved foundations. I think I've talked about it so many times in my videos because it has really worked for one of my daughters. I have tried this with 2 of my other children, and it's just not for them. We had all the levels, and so I felt like I didn't know any better, and I thought, you know, this would fit and work for all of them because I really loved the way it was laid out and designed, and it's worked wonders for one of my kids. It just isn't for the other 2 of my children, so they just learn differently. It's just a different learning style. So just keep that in mind. This is a secular curriculum. There's nothing biblical or anything like that in them. It just straight up teaches language arts. So you're covering language arts, meaning like spelling, reading, writing, grammar, comprehension, stuff like that. That's all built in varying degrees throughout the levels. So anyway, you guys, that is my final review of Foundations. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you have any questions about any of the levels, let me know down below, and I'm happy to help you if I can. Thank you, and I'll talk to you in the next video.